Welcome to the Man That Can Project podcast, episode 411. Absolutely flying. I hope you enjoyed Monday's episode with Renee. We spoke about the 3 attachment styles, values-based living, and a few other things that are extremely helpful to help you understand your relationship with yourself and relationship with other people. Today, I'm going to be talking about why goals need to be specific. Last week's little teaching moment, I was talking about the journey to high performance, and I spoke about values-based living and why it's important to get clear on what your priorities are. And from that, you can go into setting goals, okay? And we do this a lot in the academy. It's based around setting a goal, building the plan, working the plan, reviewing the plan, rinsing, repeating, and going again. For various areas of your life, you may really struggle to understand how to set a goal, how to make it tangible. It's very easy when you're thinking about, I want to put on some muscle, I want to lose some weight, I want to earn this much money, I want to buy this car. It becomes tangible pretty easy because what you're saving for or what you're trying to see on the scales is a number, right? If you're trying to buy a Silverado, for example, and let's say it's $100,000 and you've currently got 40K in the bank, the difference is 60. So then the plan goes, how do I save an additional 60 if you want to pay for it? Or but let's just assume that. Or if you're wanting to lose weight, say you might be 90 kilos, you want to get down to 80. The goal is specific, it becomes 10. I need to lose 10 kilos. But that's where people stop. There's other areas of our life that we can improve, from our mental well-being, or let's say mental fitness, our relationships, our emotional management, our relationships with mates or our mateships. There's all of these things that we can improve because you've got mates in your life that, they're just there because they've been there for many years, but you don't feel like you're getting much value or something's missing. So how do you quantify that? And this is where getting specific with your goals comes in very fucking handy. So the more specific you make a goal, the easier it becomes to track. Now, before I go into the full story of this, just quickly, if you're wanting to make significant progress, right? If you value your physical health, if you value your mental health, and you want to improve that, you want to flex the muscle to be stronger there, check out the Strongman of Value Academy. We'll help you. I'll personally help you get clear on what that goal is. Build a plan, schedule it, and then we work the plan. You get access to incredible men from all around the world. We go through trainings and accountability to help you achieve the goal that you need to hit in order to create the life that you want. So head over to the manthatcanproject.com/strongmen of value and apply today. I'd love to see you guys in there. Anyway, let's go. Specific goals. So what are specific goals? For me, it's like being more intentional. The more specific you are, the more intentional your actions can be. The easier it is to make decisions, right? Think to yourself, how often do you make decisions? Many men out there put decisions off for a range of reasons, as I've banged on about a whole heap on this podcast. But the more clear you are on what you're working towards and what specifically you're working towards, the easier it's going to be for you to make those decisions. And it's easier to track. So, as I mentioned earlier, someone could go, all right, my goal, I'm losing weight. Awesome. How do you track that? Just jump on the scale. Okay, well, is that enough? When do you hit your number? What's the outcome? What's the destination you're working towards? So if you can get extremely specific on that, right? 10 kilos by the 23rd of July, which may be 6 weeks away. It's not from now, but let's just assume that. You've given yourself a 6-week deadline to drop 10 kilos. What is that? Just under 2 kilos a week? Cool. Is that possible? That may or may not be. Do you have the right knowledge? Let's get specific. Do you feel you know what you need to eat? Do you feel you know how to exercise to achieve that? do you have the time to achieve that? That's getting specific. Very often people, like I said, set unspecific goals with no deadline. They don't check whether they have the time available. They don't get specific on the plan. Okay, what has to happen in order to achieve the goal? Because they just go, just putting it out there is enough. And there is this wave going through in personal development, and I don't want to criticize it because I say it and I still believe it's important, but it's important to fail forward. However, there's some pretty, I guess I'm bringing this back onto participation awards. I'm dead against participation awards. Fuck that. You either get the outcome that you want or you don't. And you go back to the drawing board. There is a black and white outcome when you're working towards specific results, right? You either set the goal and get specific and you achieve it or you don't. Now, obviously, through the progress of working towards a specific goal, you're going to get feedback, right? You're going to learn what's working well for you, what's not, whether you're procrastinating or whether you're being extremely efficient with your time. All of that's important feedback, right? And in the long term, take it on board, run to the goal. However, in the short term, you can fail. And you can fail by a little bit, or you can just set such an unrealistic goal that you don't even come close. And I guarantee you, not coming close, it doesn't motivate people. So I believe it's extremely important when you get specific and you get clear on where you are right now, like specifically with where I'm at right now. As I've spoken about on this as well, when I first started business, I set a goal to make $1 million in 12 months. I didn't get specific with my goal setting. Obviously, I set the deadline, I set the time frame, awesome. I mapped out a bit of a plan in regards to how many sales I needed to make. I didn't really get clear on my time, whether I had it available to actually do all of that. I didn't get clear on whether I had the systems and support to help me achieve that. So there were a few things missing, right? And when things are missing, picture it as like a drum full of water and you're trying to keep the water. Actually, use this protein shaker I have here for those who are watching on YouTube. Picture this. The full cup, like a cup with no holes in it that doesn't leak, would be a well set out goal, a very specific goal. But when you don't get specific on certain things, you're drilling holes in the cup. So even though you're trying to fill it up and achieve a full cup, there's leaks, right? It holds you back from achieving the outcome that you're looking for. So can you understand why it's extremely important to, maybe it takes a little bit longer for you to set the goal, but it's going to be more attainable, more trackable, and more realistic. So when you're in that position and you know it's possible for you, you know you've got the deadline, you know you've got the time allocated to do that, you know you've got access to the resources, or you can, you truly believe you can learn what it is that you need to learn, it's motivating and it helps you focus because you know the specific thing you're working towards, not just I'm losing weight, cool. Yeah, nice, I feel motivated. And then you forget about it. If you're working towards losing 10 kilos and every week you're on track, you're hitting those milestones, it's, I'm 2 kilos down this week, 2 kilos down the following week. It's motivating. It helps you get up and go again the following week. So when you're specific, you can set those milestones. Now, I've used the example of health and I've used the example of money. But I think it's important to think about other areas in your life because I know many people get stuck there. So let's use relationships. I want to improve my relationship. Okay. What specifically do you mean by that? What would improving your relationship look like? Could it be you want to improve that you don't have as many arguments? Would you like to improve the communication that you have? Is it that you're not feeling valued? Is it that you don't do activities together? What specifically is it? And then you need to ask yourself, what specifically has to happen to achieve that outcome? Or what specifically do you think has to happen? Because it may be wrong, right? Allow a little room for wiggle room. But that then gives you something that you can go, okay, over the next 12 weeks, for example, I'm committing to practicing to communicate better. I'm committing to 10 minutes a day where I just want to focus on listening. I want to really make my partner feel heard. What specifically does that feel like? We'll have a conversation if that's something they need, but it might be you asking questions and listening for the sake of listening without wanting to say anything back. And then just let the conversation go. 10 minutes a day, you can put that on a timer, you can make that tangible. You can see then how you feel after each month. Go, do I feel like I'm on track with this? I've been doing my 10 minutes a day, but has anything been changing? If it is, awesome, continue doing it. If it's not, go back to that original question. Okay, I've tried this, but what specifically is missing? Why do I not feel I'm getting the outcome? What is it? Is it something to do with me personally? You might then have to look within yourself. Okay, but you're going to start piecing things together. And I know that the mindset side of things is very specific, but I think relationships is something to delve into, because once again, when relationships fall apart, we have people flocking into the academy, because often when we lose something that means something to us and we may have been taking it for granted prior, we want it back. And so if we can help you do that prior, so start thinking about the things that make a great relationship, or when your relationship has been amazing, why do you feel it was amazing at that point? Think about those things, okay? So as I've said, the details do matter. So think about setting a deadline, setting milestones, because like I said, it helps you focus, breaks it down smaller, and it motivates you, right? Ticking those milestones off is like, cool. And if you don't tick them off, you get a quick moment to go, what am I not doing here? Or what am I missing? How can I improve that? Make sure you have the support. Make sure you have a plan, right? A plan mapped out, and schedule the time. You could get the best plan in the world, but if your life's extremely busy with kids, with work and various other things, and you don't have the time required in order to achieve it, once again, you've set yourself up to fail. And also that outcome, what's that destination? How will you know when you achieve this? And get very, very clear and specific on that. Another thing actually to be mindful of is communicating what you really mean, not just thinking it. So if you're talking to someone, right, and you're wanting them to do something for you, the more clearly you communicate, the more specific that you communicate, the better likelihood that the outcome's going to get done, right? For example, I could ask you to grab me an ice cream. If I just say, hey, can you go grab me an ice cream? There's no deadline, so you could come back in a month. You would say, did you mean now? I didn't specify on the flavor, so you could bring me back like bubblegum flavor or something disgusting. And I go, fuck, I didn't want that. I wanted chocolate, right? So I didn't get specific on what it was. I didn't say what size, so I might go, or anything like, you get my drift, right? So it's important to verbalize it, right? When you verbalize it, but also with goal setting, write it down. Yeah, you can have things that you want to achieve in your head, but the moment that you write it down is essentially similar to communicating it verbally with people. So get around it, write it down and review it daily. We do this with our game plan, right? You've got your goal there and we talk about it every week. It's always at the forefront of your mind, and you review your progress to it. You get clear on the action steps and you do that daily. So I hope that was short, or was short. Hope that was helpful for you. Now, if you got value from that, it would mean a whole lot to me if you could share it, like it, leave a review, because one of my goals is to continue building the podcast, to continue building the subscribers, and to continue building the review base, because it adds credibility to the podcast. People who are looking for a podcast and check the ratings and go, oh, this one's got a heap of reviews. So I think on Apple Podcasts we're at 91 reviews, and on Spotify we're at 37. So I'd love to see both of those get over, based off the listeners that we have, 500 on each of those platforms. So I've got the date here as well. My date is the 31st of July, 2023. So not too far away. So if you're listening, do that, appreciate it. And remember to check out the Strong Men of Value Academy. Do something today to be better for tomorrow.